Hey everyone, it's Erin with Hail Varsity. I'm joined by Brady, also of Hail Varsity, and we are at Memorial Stadium kind of unexpectedly in the sense that, I don't think this is really how any of us expected to spend our Sundays, at least not yet. But Brady, we are here. For anyone who might be tuning in going, why are you at Memorial Stadium? Just fill us in.
I think none of us really, like you said, expected to get the email or the notification today. But Trev Alberts, I guess, met with Scott Frost at about 11 a.m. this morning, is what he said. Met with him and said that they wanted to go in a different direction with the football program, and Scott Frost had basically been fired at that point. They talked it out. Scott got to meet with players, Trev said, and went about kind of the next steps and everything, making amends. And because Scott meant so much to this state, this football program as a head coach and just in general as a player, did right by him and everything. But then Trev had a press conference meeting with the media at 3 o'clock today and kind of filled us in on everything. So Mickey Joseph is your interim head football coach now at Nebraska moving forward for the remainder of this season. And then we'll see what the rest holds.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of unknowns just so you are aware as you're kind of, might be grappling with what does this mean, what's next. Obviously what we do know is that Nebraska is getting ready to face Oklahoma in just a matter of, days at this point. And Mickey Joseph has the freedom to do whatever it is he needs to do to get this team ready. Trev Alberts kind of alluded to the fact that there might be some sizable changes that are made, and he's going to trust him to make those changes as he sees fit. And, as I was listening to Trev Alberts talk through this, this is something that I think a lot of people were asking why now, because obviously there's a buyout associated with it. And October 1st was kind of the date a lot of people had circled on their calendar that if things did not improve by then, that was sort of the date to keep an eye on, because October 1st the buyout would drop from 15 million to 7.5 million, somewhere in that range. And so that's a significant amount of money. But as we now know, Trev Alberts said, they're paying the full buyout out. That wasn't a part of it. He didn't really go into any specifics about, boosters or anything else. But at the same time, he said there's expectations that need to be met, accountability that has to be met. And it was just the timing, while not ideal. He wants to give the players an opportunity to have a season. They have 9 games left, a season that they could win. And I found that really, really interesting personally. What did you think?
Yeah, because I think a lot of people looked at last year and found that unacceptable of the Nebraska football program and the way that I don't know, maybe it's a thing that stood out to me with like the Northwestern game. They had the onside kick, and before that you had the radio comments about, obviously Scott was being flippant and not serious when he said that they had offensive linemen puking, but like social media and the internet and everything blew up and made that kind of a big thing. And at Nebraska, that's one thing, they can handle a tough season here or there, but when it kind of becomes like a running joke, kind of to college football, Twitter, and the landscape and media, that's kind of where they draw the line. And like Trev said, they wanted to give Scott as much leeway as possible. They wanted it to work, but then last night, the game here at Memorial Stadium, losing to a good Sun Belt team in Georgia Southern and one coached by a very reputable coach, still it's a loss to Georgia Southern, and they're not competing for championships anymore. They're not in the conversations that they used to be in, and that's where Trev kind of said that's where they had to draw the line and finally make the decision. So he said it was a tough time trying to sleep overnight, but they kind of came to it this morning, and then everything's just kind of been flying in the air since then.
It's just kind of surreal. Like so we're standing actually on the spot, like on the floor in the spot where Scott Frost was introduced as head coach, just about 4.5 years ago. And it's kind of surreal to think like how different things have changed so quickly. And as we're standing here, which you can't hear, there's actually music out in the stadium because they're getting ready for an incredible event. It's Husker Heroes, which is always an amazing event that Nebraska hosts every year, but it just kind of feels a little surreal at the moment because here's this big significant change that has happened with one of the sports. And as we kind of know, as today showed, the show must go on. And It truly is right now because, like I said, you were listening to this music out in the stadium and the show really must go on.
Yeah, well, and I found it interesting was we were walking back to the press box after everything. There was a very solemn feeling for those who were here for the game yesterday. There was a very solemn feeling once the game ended and everybody was filing out. But they had the young kids playing catch, and moms taking pictures and videos on their cameras and everything like that. And it was just a very harsh reminder of like this is going to keep happening. Like there will be games played. Nebraska football will continue to exist, and fans will continue to come to the stadium. And now, Trev kind of alluded to it today. Mickey Josephine, interim football coach, is going to inject a little bit of more enthusiasm, energy. Mickey's a very enthusiastic, he's a very infectious guy. He's the kind of guy that you see out there with the players, and not only players can wrap around him, but fans can really say like, oh, okay, this is our guy. He's the kind of guy that you would want to rally the troops at a time like this. So, if you get that going ahead of a game with now Oklahoma's ranked number 6 in the latest rankings, I mean, it's time to answer the call, and Husker fans want something to rally behind. What better time to do that than with rekindling an age-old rivalry here at Memorial Stadium?
If you are kind of wondering what's next or you have questions or anything, first and foremost, you can always leave comments here on YouTube. You can also tweet at us at Hail Varsity. But again, you can leave comments and we'll read through the comment section and try to address them as much as possible, obviously knowing that like a lot of the information is still to come. So if you're kind of wondering what's next, we will hear from Mickey Joseph for the first time as Nebraska's interim head coach this coming Tuesday. If you're somebody who, keeps up with this every week, you will know that typically Nebraska has a Monday press conference that has been moved. We will be speaking with Mickey for the first time on Tuesday, give everyone a little bit of time to kind of adjust to the new normal, if you will. And we're going to just be keeping you updated on everything we know as we know it. And that includes everything at hailvarsity.com, videos here on YouTube. In fact, if you want to go watch Trev Alberts' full 20 minutes, it's already here on YouTube. We'll continue to share different clips from that moment and also just kind of evaluating everything as we go, because I think at this point, that's really all we can do is kind of, just take it one game at a time at this point, because that's really, I think, the only way forward at this point.
Yeah, I mean, and that kind of seems like that's the way that they're going to go. Trev talked about, I'm going to be there, not a medal, but he's going to support Mickey and everything he does, even up to the point where if Mickey thinks that personnel changes need to be made, they would support that. Meanwhile, they're going to do a national search to find a new head coach, and Mickey could win that job if the results are on the field. Trev did say that, so I don't know if it's going to be an interesting season to play out on the field, and then there's so much more going on behind the scenes. It's just going to be a Husker football season unlike anything we've seen before.
Truly. And just know that the rumor mill is always going to be churning. And so Trev Alberts even threw that out to us, that if you hear he is talking with anyone or anything, that doesn't mean anyone is hired. So we will obviously keep you in the loop as we know more too, because some names have already started to kind of trickle out there. But again, I think a lot of that is just people being excited about potential candidates, which is not a bad thing. Always be excited. But again, we will keep you updated with everything we know as we know it. Head over to hailvarsity.com. We already have a few different stories available, breaking down the press conference. You can get to know a little bit more about Mickey Joseph. The videos will all be posted here as we go through the week. We have plenty of, podcasts, both here on YouTube, and you can get them wherever you listen to podcasts that we will be updating throughout the week. So, it's Oklahoma week. This is probably not how we expected to start Oklahoma week, but let's go.
I mean, you got nothing to do to change it, so why not just roll with it?
That is the only way to go forward. All right, we'll talk to you all later. Thank you for joining us. Again, leave comments. We'll talk to you soon.